Welcome back. It's time to use our VPC Flow Logs to troubleshoot AWS Client VPN connectivity issues. Starting with our AWS Client VPN endpoint setup, we already have routing configured correctly for the VPC CIDR 192.168.0.0/16. Jumping to our authorization rules, we can see that all traffic is allowed, so nothing appears blocked at this stage. Next, we head over to the EC2 console and select a private IP address that we'll use to test connectivity over our client VPN session. Now, I've deliberately omitted a configuration, and the goal is to let Flowlogs reveal exactly what the issue is. Let's copy the private IP address of our sales EC2 instance, open an SSH session to that instance, and attempt to connect. Even though we are successfully connected to our client VPN, the SSH connection times out, and this is where Flowlogs become our best friend in troubleshooting. I will minimize my SSH session for now. Let's jump over to the VPC console. Under the Client VPN VPC, go to the Flowlogs tab. Select the log destination name and then click View in Log Insights. This gives us the ability to run queries for specific IP addresses, ports, and any other advanced filtering, much better than scrolling through a huge list of logs. Here, I'll run a filter using our copied sales EC2 IP address as the destination, and also a destination port of 22, which is the default SSH port. Because my server is also exposed to the internet, I can already see some public IP addresses attempting SSH connections. But notice there is no private or VPN IP showing up at this stage. Remember, flow logs are not real-time, so there can be delays before your packets appear. Expanding the flow log entry, I can see that all these internet-originated SSH attempts are being rejected, which tells me the instance security group is blocking them. At this point, I'll restart my SSH session just to generate fresh traffic. For your visibility, the AWS Client VPN is connected. It's just open on my second screen, which isn't being recorded. Here we go. Looking at the new flow log entry, we now see an SSH attempt from an IP address within the VPC CIDR range. Let's copy that IP address. Now I'll run a search across our network interfaces list. We can see this is a client VPN endpoint elastic network interface. Let's begin by checking the subnet CIDR that this interface belongs to. We'll copy the client VPN subnet CIDR and jump over to our sales EC2 instance. Open the instance's security group. Right away, you can see there are no inbound rules, which explains why the VPC flow logs were showing packet rejects. Let's add an SSH rule that allows the client VPN interface subnet. Fire the SSH session again, and immediately you'll see the SSH fingerprint, confirming a successful connection. The key error appears only because we haven't configured an SSH key. Next, let's run a ping test. It fails as expected since there's no inbound ICMP rule. Flow logs would also highlight this clearly. I'll add an ICMP rule from the client VPN subnet. With that in place, the ping now succeeds. A very common mistake engineers make is using the VPN pool allocation CIDR in security groups instead of the client VPN subnet CIDR. With the security group corrected, let's test EC2 instance connect. You'll notice instance connect fails because it relies on SSH from the instance based on the AWS instance connect prefixes. Open the security group once more. For the source, search for instance connect and select the prefix labeled IPv4. Initiate EC2 instance connect again, and we are now successfully logged onto our EC2 instance. Let's run tcpdump to capture the ICMP traffic hitting the instance. I'll fire a ping again, and immediately we can see the capture showing the incoming ICMP sessions. Remember, tcpdump only displays traffic that the security group has already permitted. If the traffic is blocked at the security group level, tcpdump won't see it. Only VPC Flow Logs will record that interface level activity before it reaches the operating system. Here we can clearly see that the initiating IP belongs to our client VPN interface. You can always confirm this by copying the IP and searching under your EC2 network interfaces. From this demonstration, you've seen how Flow Logs and tcpdump complement each other in network troubleshooting, with one capturing traffic at the VPC layer and the other at the OS layer. If you are working on Windows, Wireshark provides similar OS-level packet capture capabilities. Thank you for watching. Join me in the next session where we dive deeper into troubleshooting authorization rules with Active Directory groups, which introduces its own important and unique troubleshooting scenarios.